Welcome to Pickleball is Life. If you like these videos, all I ask is that you please press the red subscribe button on the bottom right. It won't cost you anything.
Hi, Ken.
Well, hello, welcome back.
Yes, my second interview with you. We were in Philadelphia the last time we met.
We were on a bench, and I kept wondering if the camera had gone off or if it was turned on or off or what happened.
And I joked with you. I said, I forgot to hit record. And you got like...
I remember.
Nice talking to you. Let's play some pickleball.
All right, you betcha. Thanks for having me. Perfect. Was I boring? Was that okay?
Oh, I didn't hit record yet.
Oh!
I've got so many questions for you. I'd like to open with the New York City Open. What a tremendous, get, I guess is the best word for it. 44 courts at the Billie Jean King National Tennis. I've been there a few times for the US Open in Flushing.
For sure.
Tell me the backstory. How long did that take to secure?
A good year. I mean, it took a year, and I just can't thank the board of directors from USTA, the senior staff. A gentleman by the name of Danny Zasner was so instrumental with helping this come along. It's the heart of tennis, and I put out a couple of weeks ago that one of my goals was to continue to build that bridge between tennis and pickleball, and certainly having a big event there at Flushing Meadow will hopefully continue to do that. Right. I know that one of the missions that USA Pickleball has for the APP Tour as the official pro partner is to help continue grow this sport. And I don't need to put another tournament down in Southern California or Florida. We need to keep going in regions of USA Pickleball that have not really been hit or pickleball has been exposed to enough. So certainly now having an event in Philadelphia, an event in New Jersey with the New Jersey Open, and then of course having the New York City Open, we're making an impression up on the East Coast, which will hopefully continue to drive more interest for the sport.
And you're doing it internationally too, reaching out to other countries.
I know. So if the question is, what are four great things that I'm really proud about this year with the tour? Certainly New York is one of them, being able to have a major event up at Flushing Meadow, and then helping grow the sport internationally. We have 2 stops over in Mexico with Cancun and Guadalajara, and then the 3 big ones over in Europe, working with the team from the Madrid Open, the French Open, and then the big major right now over in England, of course, is the English Open. The England Federation has just got a terrific group of support there, and that really is growing really nicely over there in England.
I was interviewing Lee Whitwell, and I said, "Are you going to go to the English Open?" She said, "Ken told me I'm running it."
Yeah, she's heading on over there, so she's going to go on over there. We had to cancel one of our next gen events, or I should say, we had to postpone one of our next gen events. 2 weeks ago, we were in Oklahoma City, but we had a huge major snowstorm that was coming in that people just couldn't get in, so we delayed that. So we're actually going to have a doubleheader that first week in July. We'll be at the English Open and Next Gen going on in Oklahoma City. So we're all trying to make sure we've got our guns loaded for both of those 2 events.
Yeah, I ask all the pros if they plan to, go to some of these international events, and they seem to be pretty excited about it. So it'll be great to, share that level of pickleball with some of the other countries.
You're right about that. And then just helping be an ambassador and a role model. Many of the pros that you have on TV with your interviews right now, those are pros that people in Paris, Madrid, England, they're all watching these pros play. So if we can get them to come on over and have a presence there and see how nice they are and how they want to help them with their games, I think it will just continue to increase the overall growth and interest for the sport, which will help those tournaments to even thrive more in years to come.
Will you do the academy the day after on those events also?
Those are all topics for conversation. I haven't checked with Zane yet. Right now, he is not scheduled to go to all of those events out there, but APP Academy has been a big success so far, and Zane's having a lot of fun out there doing it and working with a lot of players and trying to get their games up to par.
So back to New York Open. You have some interesting things. You have an East versus West Seniors Cup.
The Melissa McCurley Cup. Yeah, I had said a couple of seconds ago, there's probably 4 things that I'm really excited about this year. The first one was New York. Next Gen has just been a big hit so far, and so warming to my heart to get to really know these players on a little bit more of an intimate level with these up and coming players. Taking the tour over to Europe is a big thrill for myself. And then the last one, of course, is the Melissa McCurley Cup. Melissa's just been very instrumental with my development when I came to her 3 years ago with this crazy idea of putting the tour together, and having her serve as an advisor for me with the steps that I should do and some of the histories of some tours before in the past that had some challenges and what I could learn from those challenges that they had. But the Melissa McCurley Cup is a 72-player all senior pro event. The seniors are opening up New York City on Wednesday, and it's sold out. It's sold out. So we've got the East Coast, and we've got Mircea Marario, Julie Johnson, Linda Thompson, Paul Olin, all representing some of the names with John Sperling and Dave Weinbach are going to play on the East Coast team. And then the West Coast have got the Dawsons, Steve and Jennifer and Cammie McGregor and Beth Hurst, Scott Fliegelman, Scott Moore. I mean, they're all going to come together in New York, and we're going to showcase them on the premier front courts, live stream the event, and we'll see who's got bragging rights, the East Coast or the West Coast. It'll be a fun-filled day of flighted competition and doubles in the morning, and then mixed doubles in the afternoon after we have a nice lunch for them. And we'll see who gets the cup this year, the East Coast or the West Coast team.
I remember when I first started pickleball, everybody said, "Oh, the players out in the West Coast are so much better than anybody, in the Philadelphia area." And,
you're right. One of the things I was really proud about when the Senior Pro Council kind of endorsed the APP tour this year and put their support, one of the goals that we had was to get those West Coast players to travel east of the Mississippi River. And I am very proud that they have been coming to Florida. They played in Boca, and they're making these trips to go out there. So for a lot of those West Coast players, we just haven't been able to get out there as much as a tour stop because we got shut down so many times with COVID. So we've got a big California swing coming up this summer. We're back out in Arizona later on in the fall this year. But I really do appreciate those West Coast pros headed all the way up to New York and being involved with this Melissa McCurley Cup.
And it's $125,000 prize money. That's, I think, the biggest yet. I also liked how you disclosed the breakdown by event, full disclosure of the money, which was very nice.
So the APP has come up with a terrific stipend or appearance reward program for our top pros, and also the senior pros. We're helping them out too, as well, as far as their travel expenses go. But what I've tried to do with the APP tour is not hide those fees inside the overall purse. If I say the tournament's $100,000, every penny is going to be allocated back to the players. So we did that for this one in New York, and it's $125,000. We're paying out the pros, the senior pros, and now we've got the Super Senior Council. The Super Seniors are coming, and they've also got a fond place in my heart. It was those people like Hillary Merrill and Yoda. Those are the forefront leaders, the Hackenbergs, that grew this sport 10 or 15 years ago, that the pros of today's generation are reaping the benefits of what they did 10, 12, 15 years ago. Just has our current group of stars with Corinne, Adam, Lee Whitwell, Andrea Coop, Sarah Ansberry. They're paving the way for that next generation that's coming up as well. It was interesting. Last night, Jack Foster, who's in the Next Gen program, and he's a top player, out of Florida, a young 20-year-old man, did an interview last night. And it was interesting how players were chiming in on the live stream, how they were watching Jack, and he was actually a role model for them over there overseas. And that really is just amazing that these young generations are inspiring players over in Europe, because if we're ever going to get this sport in the Olympics, the IOC committee is not just going to look at America. They got to look to see what all countries are doing. Yes. So the fact that, when we had that Next Gen program in San Antonio, one of the things we did is we brought the senior pros on board, and we had seminars with them, and we talked about the importance of being a role model. If you don't win that match, you don't throw your paddle. You still go up there. You congratulate the winners. You shake the tournament director's hand. You thank all the volunteers that get out there at 6 o'clock every morning to make sure those courts are cleaned for you, because there are people that are going to watch this match indefinitely on YouTube from all across the world, China, Australia. and they're really setting the parameters, even as a 17, 18, 19-year-old, as that next group of 10, 11, 12-year-olds watch them play.
Right. So I think you just touched upon it, but you just announced this APP Pro Council. Is that something brand new, or you've been working on that for a little while?
Well, no, one of the things I've tried to do with the APP Tour is just have different building blocks along the whole way. So We've got the Next Gen program, then we've got the Pro Tour. The Pro Tour has its own separate voice. There are certain needs, challenges, and wants that the pros have. So we thought, what not better thing to do is to put a 9-person panel on a pros council. The pros want their tour run a little bit differently than how the senior pros want their tour run. So the senior pros, we've got a council lined up with them. I meet with both councils quarterly, and it just helps provide that extra layer of communication to make sure we all know what's going on. The super seniors, I've got 6 terrific people on the super senior council, and I love visiting with them. We've got 3 events for the super seniors this year. We got Delray Beach, we've got at Scott Moore's new place out at Prescott, and then we're going to go in New York City and then kind of review the super seniors, whether a super senior should be 60 and above or 65 and above. That's one of the things that we're taking a look at there. But I think each tour amongst the overall tour has its own separate voice. We are now working hard on putting an amateur pros council together. I've often been told that one of the things people like about the APP Tour is that we treat everyone equally across the board. I enjoy going and watching that 3.5 player from Toledo, Ohio, play just as much as I enjoy going on our center court and watching those matches play. So I think we also need to be hearing from the amateurs. What are the needs that we can do to keep trying to have them have the best experience at an APP event?
What's the average? If you had to have a breakdown of the number of players playing on your tour events, pros versus amateurs? I got to believe the amateurs are the vast majority of the players signing up.
Correct. That's a great question there. We probably have between 60 to 65% amateur play.
Wow. The
pros come anywhere between 20 and 25%, and then the senior pros kind of fill up the rest of the gap there.
Got it.
And that's been a consistent model. Another interesting consistent model has been is we've seen just terrific retention from returning players that come back and support the tour. I very seldom have had players say, "Oh, it's one and done, and we're never going to do an APP event again." We've seen great tracking off of our data that customers are coming back and playing a second and third event, that they feel like it's a comfortable home environment that they can thrive in whatever goals that they have set up for themselves.
Within these councils, has there been any discussion on rule changes specific to the APP Tour? Like the PPA announced the big thing about the spin serve not being allowed. Has there been any talk on the spin serve or any other rules specific to the APP event?
No, and I don't really think as being the official pro tour of USA Pickleball that I'm going to start defraying from them. I've got a great relationship with Karen Parrish, Mark Pfeiffer. I'm in constant communication with them. I have a representative on the rules committee. So I've got a gentleman by the name of Rob Cassidy that is a representative voice for the APP. So we keep up to date with whatever changes. And he's the voice from the pros and senior pros that's also relaying back to the committee when they have their meetings with Mark Pfeiffer.
So you'll feed it back. If they make a rule change, then you'll honor that the next year. So for this year, you're allowing spin serves, right?
Correct. We're following the USTA. Correct. We're following the exact the rules of the rule book is what we're following.
Right. Which I think has, it really has to be that way. You have to have one, standard. You can't.
Sure. And I also think you need to have one consistent standard across the board. There may be, each tour may be run a little bit differently as far as, how many players are allowed in a draw or how much wait time do we have. But as far as the consistency of the overall rules, I think the pros, senior pros, and amateurs all need to have the same steady rules as they progress through their own careers.
Right. A little bit about the APP Academy. So you've had, Zane just told me you've done 2 of them so far, and you're having it at every APP event?
Yeah. So APP Academy was a vision that I kind of came up with what we can do as far as being able to offer, clinics to the aspiring players. Sometimes we do the clinics before the tournament. Sometimes we do them afterwards. But with Zane coming on board and being the director that I brought on board to be a part of this academy, I told him, I said, Zane, I really need for you to consistently be out there. I don't expect you to play every APP tour stop, whether it's a tier 1 or a tier 2. But I said, I want to have a consistent presence with you, whatever supporting staff you bring out there with guest pros to help. And he's made that commitment. So for the whole year, he will be at every single stop. So if I say that it's going to be directed by Zane, and people want to get to know Zane or learn more about him or be on court with him, they are definitely going to be on court with him. That was a big must for me that in these conversations with him.
He's really psyched about it. He talked about it a lot. He also won. He won the sportsmanship award this year, right?
He did. He did. So I know he was probably hoping for fan favorite at the Boca Masters. We passed out a kind of a survey to who were your favorite pros, and we had over 4,000 people that voted. So he was in the running, but that Mr. Cassidy got the favorite male pro award, and then Michelle's a sweetheart by many people. Michelle Escobar got the favorite female pro from the female side. But yes, Zane is a terrific sportsman of the game and a straight shooter. Back when I was playing pickleball, I used to be able to play with him, but now I hardly ever play it anymore. So it's nice that I've known Zane before this whole tour thing started and had a trusting relationship with him.
Yeah, he interestingly described to me that from a financial perspective, it is not financially worthwhile for him to play in PPA events. It's very interesting how it's really affecting the pros. I mean, if you're not, this whole contract issue, if you're not under contract, it looks like, can you just talk about it? Was it a surprise to you? I understand what the APP is doing, but it really seems to be affecting where players are going to be financially able to play,
Mm-hmm. Well, I wish the financial package can be taken out of the equation. I come from a background of working in the tennis world as a coach and fortunate to have been on player development for years. If you take the financial equation out of it to where you can just focus on player development and becoming the best player you can play, I encourage players to play everything. They should be going and supporting the other tour. They should be going and supporting the other big events. You've got to put yourself in the line of fire to be able to know how you're going to handle that situation, whether it's playing in California or it's playing in the humidity of South Florida or the crowds yelling in New York City, which I think they're going to be yelling at. You got to put yourself in all of those types of
environments.
The airplanes over LaGuardia. So it saddens that players are perhaps not playing some of the other events. I don't know the finances as far as each player that's involved. Some people are working full time. Some people have made this sport a full-time passion of theirs. All I can tell you is kind of a partnership that we have kind of aligned ourselves with Steve Kuhn with Major League Pickleball. When some of these offers were being thrown out there, we just knew that calmer heads would always prevail. So between APP and MLP, we wanted to see if we could offer our best packages so that the pros knew that there were other options that were available for them. And clearly, I think from what I've reviewed, there certainly is a terrific amount of money on the table for these pros to be able to generate a good livelihood for themselves, especially with the support of APP and MLP combined.
Right, that's great. So I remember I watched our interview. You said you had 18 events in 2021, and you were hoping to have 31 events in 2022. Did that number change? Are you still at 31? How many?
Well, we're at 32 right now.
32.
We've got a couple in the pocket that we're close to finalizing and coming on through. So, my phone is ringing off the wall. I get New Orleans, I get San Francisco, I get Dallas calling saying we would love to have an APP event here. There's a pretty significant economic impact that a tour stop can bring for the community.
Right.
And also, after we leave and people come out and see what this pickleball thing's all about, I've consistently heard from the clubs that we've been at or the park districts that we've been at that the local programs increase their level of excitement. More people are buying paddles. They're signing up for local leagues. They're taking lessons with the local pickleball professional. So there's a trickle down effect. So A couple have come on out and have really put some strong pleads into us to come on up there. I think my objective has always been with a conversation that I've had with the folks with USA Pickleball, Stu, Justin, and Karen. Is our goal is to have an APP event in every region of the U.S. so that everyone can at least experience what a tour stop is and what that whole feel is about it at all. And right now, I think this year we are in 11 out of the 13 regions. So as we look at our 2023 schedule, we're still hoping to make that route and go all the way and get in all 13.
And Canada also?
If we can get up to Canada, that'll be great. I've had several conversations with the Canadian Association up there and a couple of very prominent tournament directors. If we're going to Mexico, we got to go up to Canada too. So that works out well there. I know.
You can get over the bridge.
I know that running a tour is first and foremost offering that player experience for the player. It's also, can the tour survive financially? The last thing is how can we continue to grow this sport? So as I keep coming back to that last comment that I made, going into these cities or going into these regions to help build it, I'm perfectly fine. If we go up to, let's say, Maine, and we only have 400 people in the tournament in Maine, I'm perfectly fine with taking a 3-day or 4-day event and going up there and doing that because I know the impact we're going to have there after we leave, and the friendships and the camaraderie. And when we come back the second or third year, we'll see an increase in participation. So I've always got my eyes open to seeing where is a pocket we can go to. Look at Philadelphia last year. I mean, Holy cow, we were in Philadelphia. We did an amateur-only tournament with prize money. Now we're going to come back with a pro event too as well. And I mean, that'll certainly be one of my favorite stops this year as we hit Philadelphia again.
What do you look for in a venue? What's some of the criteria for a venue that?
Yeah, that's the big checklist right there. Well, first off, making sure you've got as many dedicated courts as possible. The biggest consistent voice I've heard from the amateur players is, they don't want to be playing on tape courts. And if we do put them on tape courts, make sure you've got a great net out there. The nets that Cammie and Darren McGregor do, the C&D nets. I think I've ordered 33 of them now. I've got 33 nets all across the U.S. at different pods that we've got to make sure we're getting the high quality nets out there for the players. Making sure you've got the internet. If we're going to be doing broadcasting, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, or it's with some of the bigger networks, you've got to have that internet lined up there as best as you can. From a player's experience, making sure there's plenty of parking, making sure we've got the bathroom facilities lined up. We always put trailers up at all of our venues. We don't really kind of do the porta potty or make them walk a half a mile to go to the local grocery store. So it's all those little things that kind of go into the main list is kind of what makes the checklist and what we feel would be the best spot available. And
it seems like more and more of your events are at serious tennis facilities that are being transformed, like Delray. Are you able to actually transform the surface of a tennis court to a pickleball and then transform it back?
Yeah, so I think your question's got it's a two-part answer. The first answer is when you look to bring a tour stop, there really are 3 different venues you can go to. You can go to a private tennis club. An example of that is working with the Dawson family out of Bobby Riggs. So you can work at a private tennis club and then see if they've got any dedicated courts, or do you have to go in there and repaint some courts? The second avenue that you work with is working with your local park districts. That's the grassroots of pickleball. That's how you grow this sport. So at the park districts, I might not have a big stadium court like I do at Delray Beach, but if I put 600 people in a draw in New Jersey, their pickleball is just as important to them as the people who has a stadium court there. The third avenue I can go to as the tour owner is I can go to a hotel. The JW down in Phoenix is a beautiful hotel. So those are the 3 types of venues that we've kind of identified as far as where would a tour stop go. Each of those venues has got challenges. Each of those venues has got positives. And it just kind of, what is the flavor? What's the sense of what we can do to make this the best impact as possible? As far as your second question goes, it's really important that when you go in there, there's a difference between repainting a court versus resurfacing a court. Resurfacing a court adds up substantially because you're putting so many layers on the court to perhaps slow the court down. We've never gone into a venue and resurfaced a court. We've had to fill in some cracks at times.
Okay, so
but we've gone in there and we have repainted the court. So that's the big difference.
And and the facilities are generally okay with that because.
Well, yeah, they don't pay for it. I'm the one that pays for it, so
Right.
Of course they're fine with that. We have to go ahead and work with whoever the leaderboard is for that particular venue. We have to make sure the contractors are licensed out, whether we go union, whether we don't go union. It's just all about trying to make sure we've got that working relationship there. There's a lot of venues that are being built right now with pickleball being the primary focus. It blows my mind how many times I get an email or a text from a new developer wanting my 2 cents on, a possible venue going up and what could they do to perhaps have an APP tour stop there? How many feet do they need between the courts? Can they set up a broadcast stadium? Can they set up seating? What can already, a year.
Okay. Future. Yeah. Have you heard about Austin's Pickle Ranch?
Sure.
Zane was telling me all about it. I think he's moving to Austin just to be able to play there.
I think they are, and we were supposed to have a tour stop there this year.
Oh.
I know that the owner of the venue is trying his best to get it up and ready for us to be able to go there, and we're really excited about doing that. Yeah.
What about Dreamland down there also?
Dreamland's beautiful. I mean, I love whenever I can get down there. It's a schlep to get there. Once you get there, everything's great. I was on the golf cart with Brooks. Brooks was showing me around the place. These buffalo and cows were following. I kept saying, Brooks, you got to go faster. But he has built this amazing venue out there. Right. And whether it's the bar, the beer, the covered courts, the golf course, the museum, right. I mean, it's like Michael Jackson's, it's like Dreamland of Michael Jackson. So I always enjoy spending time with Steve. I had some meetings with him last week up here in Chicago, and I enjoy him. He really has a very warm heart and certainly has the right voice and passion of where he wants pickleball to go to. I very seldom do not align on the same page with him whenever we get into conversations.
Got it. Okay, Ken, I won't take any more of your time. I really appreciate this, and you're doing a great job. All the players really appreciate all the work you're doing.
Great, thanks always. I love being with you. Great to see you always.
Take care. See you. I'll be at Delray. I'll talk to you there.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I want to thank my new sponsor, Selkirk. They make a full line of paddles and gear. They just sent me their new Vanguard 2.0 paddle to review. The review is in the link above. Announcing the Avalon Open Pickleball Tournament, Friday, May 20th through Sunday, May 22nd. Register online at pickleballtournaments.com. The full link is in the video description. Friday will be men's and women's singles, Saturday will be men's and women's doubles, and Sunday will be mixed doubles. There are skill, age, social, and open divisions with prize money. The tournament will be held at the A Street Recreational Center in Avalon, New Jersey. Make a vacation weekend out of it. Come enjoy the Avalon beaches, restaurants, and bars. Also announcing the 2022 Beach Summer League. Register online with Pickleball Den. Links are in the description. The league runs from Memorial Day to Labor Day with a playoff tournament at the end of the season. Join the fun and competitive Pickleball's Life Beach Summer League. We will be using the Pickleball Den app this year to register, see your matches, and record your match results. When registering, go under brackets and you will see the various divisions: men's doubles, women's doubles, mixed doubles, and singles. Another way you can support my channel is to use the Amazon product links I have in the description of the video. There's no cost to you or added cost, or you can go to my Amazon storefront and select a product. And check out my Pickleball Venues Google map. There's a link in the description. And check out my Pickleball Tournaments Google Calendar with all the Mid-Atlantic East Coast tournaments coming up. Hey, if you like this video and want to help support my pickleball channel, we have Pickleball is Life t-shirts available in both V-neck and crew cut, in both dry fit and cotton, with sleeves, sleeveless, and women's racerbacks. I just got in new A4 blocked shirts with stripes down the side. For the fall, I just got in North End women's and men's Radar quarter zip performance long sleeve tops. And I have men's performance shorts available. I also have Pickleball's Life hats and sport towels. You can purchase them from me on the court, online at Etsy, or just Venmo me the money and I'll mail them right out. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, all I ask is that you please subscribe by clicking on the top left and share this video with your friends. If you want to see some other pickleball videos, they're here in the center. My other YouTube channel, Tesla Life, is on the bottom left. Check it out. My Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts are listed on the right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.